yeah.
Oh,
We're rolling. We're live.
Nice.
Not live, but we're recording. We're rolling.
Yeah, we're nice.
Welcome back to Next Stage Podcast, everyone. We got Dan O'Connor in the studio here. Most of you know him as Dano. If you know him, I know him as Dano. That's how I was introduced to him. He's going to play a tune for you, tune for y'all to start it off, and then we're going to talk and play a tune out. So, do you want to get straight into the tune, or do you want to give it any background first, or play first? It's up to you.
Yeah, this is my tune called Crab in the Palace, and it kind of goes back to open mic days when I kind of got back out. It was about 15 years ago now, back at Cousin Larry's, as we all know.
Mm-hmm.
And, I set out to kind of write a bunch of songs. I was just getting back out into the music again. And I wanted to just write a bunch of simple songs that everybody could play with me.
Yeah.
So it's like, and I still...
Because of that open jam atmosphere there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my goal was, I'm going to write 20 songs with 3 chords. And a lot of those songs we still play. And everybody knows. So.
Those are some of the best 3-chord songs.
Yeah.
Well, I do have to chime us in.
Nice.
I've been forgetting lately.
Chime it in.
And we're Zen.
Nice, cool, okay. So Crowd in the Palace. Come on down to the dawn of the world. Let's take that path through the atmosphere. Give 4,000 answers to all of our questions, and maybe it will all become clear. Oh, take out your guitar and pray with the crowd in the palace. Take out your guitar and pray with the crowd in the palace, in the palace. With the crowd in the palace. Let's roll with the light and leave our coins behind. Ride the waves through the ages. See unknown plays and stages. Turn the engines on and drive right through the sand. Yeah, down that long road until we reach the end. Oh, take out your guitar and pray with the crowd in the palace. Take out your guitar and pray with the crowd in the palace, in the palace. With the crowd in the palace. Our souls are like magnets that attract us like fragments, floating in the yellow desert air. They stand all around us, kicking up dust. From Bethlehem to Lancashire, oh. We stand looking on at a woman that's real. She was dark, but set free by fire and harps. Now she got a direction and found her glory. It's a connection to a lovely place. Oh, take out your guitar and pray with the crowd in the palace. Take out your guitar and pray with the crowd in the palace, in the palace. With the crowd in the palace. With the crowd in the palace.
Beautiful, man.
Thanks, man.
And you can put your guitar up if you want while I'm talking, but man, hearing those lyrics and you giving that backstory of playing at Larry's and everybody getting together, it made me think whether or not you meant it as like a metaphor for was that the palace? Like play for the crowd in the palace, pick up your guitar and play like everyone's getting involved. It kind of had that vibe to it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it kind of had that feeling behind it, for sure. And it's funny, the second I started playing it, I was like,
Maybe
shit,
scoot-
man, I
scoot
wanted
a little bit
yeah,
forward. Just make
I
sure
was
we got
like,
you good on
definitely,
the mic.
definitely. I was like, shit, man, I wanted Scott in there, dude. I was like, you should have been
I
singing.
wanted to sing along. I had the urge to like,
I was like,
do like the harmony thing because it's such a sing along though.
it was made for that. You
Yeah.
know? That's how I try to write most of my songs.
What as
you
you
know?
said, you made it. You wanted to just write some 3-chord sing along type of songs, and like that
Yeah.
gave me the urge to like want to sing along. I like had
Yeah.
that vibe of like, oh, I should be participating in this, and like as you said, writing for that environment.
Yeah.
It was a very you don't know who's going to jump up environment. I came in at the very tail end of that, so
Yeah.
I didn't experience like the true Larry's days, but
Yeah.
maybe like I want to say 2009 was when I came
Yeah,
back.
that was still
Yeah,
that
it
was still
the
pretty
open mic.
happening
Johnny
there.
was hosting, and Jeff.
Jeff, yeah.
And there was, a lot of the people I still see coming out. Dave Bonin and
Yeah.
I think Jerry might have been in that mix sometimes. And,
Yeah.
of course, I might have met you back in those days. I can't exactly recall, but
Yeah,
Justin
we
for
go
sure.
back a pretty long way.
Yeah.
I know that.
So I know you from all the open mics and stuff, and from seeing you,
man.
play shows around, and just like everybody who's come on so far, the open mic seems to be where we all cross paths.
Yeah.
But what got you into music? When did you start? Why did you start?
Oh man, I remember I was real young, maybe like 13, right? And I went into like a high school auditorium, and I still remember the guy's name. It was like Josh Mayako.
Don't tell me he gave you a wedgie.
No, he didn't give me a wedgie. But I walked in, and this dude's band, and he had a Les Paul, and he was like doing the rock moves, and it was just a high school band. They were like maybe juniors or seniors, and I was
Was it a
young.
talent show? Or they were just practicing
It was
there?
like no, it was like a talent show. It was
Yeah.
like a legit show, and I'd never seen yet a rock show,
Yeah.
and I was like instantly like, what have I not been doing this for?
Yeah.
So that was it. Right there, I was like, guitar. I'm learning guitar.
So you were inspired by a real live event where you saw somebody else about your own age? Was he older?
No, he was like, a couple years older. And
Yeah.
back then, that's a big deal.
Right.
you know?
Yeah. When you're 16 to 18, oh, that's big. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah,
But even still,
exactly.
it's like, hey, I could do that too. Was that the kind of feeling?
Yeah, it was like, whoa, what's that all about? Then I
Yeah.
kind of like learned and got more into it and got a guitar. And then I realized I really liked singing. I'd
Yeah.
always sung. And to me, I still like to sing the most and songwrite. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then I kind of discovered, I have this sort of like ability. Because people would be like, I'd write these songs. You know how it is. You're a
Yeah.
songwriter. You write a song, and then people hear it, like you play it in school or for your friends, and people really become attached to these songs.
I don't have that experience with it.
Oh, you don't? Oh, well, ever since...
No one becomes attached to my songs that I
No?
know.
Oh,
Maybe.
I think
don't know.
they- I
Maybe
think
a
they
few,
do.
maybe a handful.
Yeah, and I'd be like, years later, there was like this one song I wrote before I even heard of Iraq,
Yeah.
called like Back to Iraq or something. I don't know
They
what.
rhymed. It seemed
Yeah,
like
it's
clever.
It rhymes. What the hell? And like years later, people would be like, "Can you play that Back to Iraq song?" And I'd be like, "I forget that song. I never wrote it down, and I don't even know what the hell it was." You know
How
what
did
I
they
mean?
know it?
I don't
Just
know.
from you playing it around?
I played it back in high school.
Was it
a
ever
few-
recorded?
No, I had just played it a few times, and I guess people like the Back to Iraq.
Yeah.
I don't know what the
Maybe
heck it
scoot
was.
another hair forward.
Sure,
I just
sure.
want to make sure you're close to the
Yeah,
mic.
no problem.
But was it like just a one-off? You like the lyric? Was it about war or no?
Probably.
Yeah.
Something like that. Now I have the Art of Gardens, which is more the Iraq sort of, I wrote around the Iraq War.
Oh,
The Art
okay.
of Gardens. But maybe I could play that one.
Yeah,
But,
if you want to play it at the end. Or
yeah,
we don't have
no.
a limit. You can play 2 tunes at the end if you want. It
No,
doesn't
I'm
have to be
good.
just one.
I'm good. I like to chat.
So you got this inspiration from seeing somebody else playing in a band, and you said,
Yeah.
Les Paul rock and roll moves." You're like, "That's for me. I'll
Yeah.
have that. Thank you."
Yeah, totally.
And then, did you go out and buy a guitar? Then were you listening to other bands that you were digging and say, "I want to do this kind of music," or how did you get? Where did you get your foot in the door with it?
Well, we were all kind of obsessed back then with like The Who and Van Halen, and
Yeah.
we all liked Jimi Hendrix, and and all that Led Zeppelin and all that stuff. I was from back in the day where it was still becoming, don't play Stairway. Like people were still
Stairway denied.
Yeah, Stairway denied. People were still playing Stairway in the music stores. In fact, I have to say I was probably guilty of it.
Because you think you're going to impress somebody walking by, like, they hear me playing Stairway, and maybe they'll ask me to join their band.
Yeah, like I can play Stairway, man, And then the solo, I learned my teacher taught me every lick of the solo. So yeah, I just became obsessed, and I figured I got one of my parents to buy me an electric guitar. I don't know how.
Yeah.
And then I slowly got into bands, and we used to just hang out in the basement, and being too young to drink, we drank, just drinking. We shouldn't have been, but
sneaking stuff where you can.
Yeah, and hanging out, and for hours just jamming like we did at open mic. And I did that, my whole teenage, and I really didn't really care about much else, but like, when can we get together? And I went to a boarding school at one point. We had a basement in the church. Somehow they gave us the key. I don't know how or why.
Gave you the key, or you found yourself in possession of the key?
No, somehow. I don't know what they were thinking. They gave us the key to the basement so that we could have an activity place for our band. Oh. Well, that was bad news. But...
Was Jesus watching the whole time?
Yeah, probably. Oh, absolutely.
I don't know what kind of church it was. I assumed it could have been a church of Satan for all I know.
That would have been weird school. Yeah, definitely. So anyway, yeah.
So you started jamming with people.
Just jamming.
It was about the hang, like let's get together and we're doing it. We're making this magic.
Yeah, it wasn't really about we had a few songs. It was more about let's take Hey Joe and just play it for a half hour and let everybody just jam on it.
Yeah.
And to this day, that's how I have always run. I mean, how I have always approached Phoenix Tree, since the beginning. Because it all came out of the open mics and that same spirit of let's just find a song and jam.
Get that vibe going, get the juices flowing, throwing back and forth ideas. I guess at that point, it's sort of like a feeling in the air that develops around that,
It's just like a groove, And then basically, then what I did was I turned around and I decided, I want to go to music school and all that. And somehow my mother allowed it and supported me through that. And
music school, where'd you go?
I went to the Hart School of Music, which is part of the University of Hartford in Hartford. Okay. And anyway, but that was a jazz school. Mm-hmm. So I had to really learn jazz. And yet jazz is really just jamming.
Yeah.
But it's super complex jamming. I was never really into it because I never really dug. I never wanted to, they were really grooming people to be like jazz.
So you weren't
guys.
Listening to jazz going in thinking I want to be in a jazz program. You just said, well, this is the way they want us to do it.
I got in here. I got a scholarship. I got half my tuition paid for because
how does that work? Did you have to perform?
I auditioned.
Yeah,
I auditioned, and when I auditioned, I got a scholarship, so I got half of my college pretty much paid for. Yeah, I did a cool arrangement of a jazz tune with lead combined with chords.
Oh, really?
I did a nice arrangement of a couple tunes, like Autumn Leaves and stuff like that. Because I went to a 2-year conservatory first, the Hartford Conservatory, and all I did was jazz for 2 solid years. Mm-hmm. And then my jazz chops were pretty good. Then I auditioned for the Hart School, and then I got a scholarship, which was cool.
What did you go into the conservatory for? You said you were playing and jamming in high school bands in the church basement, and then you just decided you want to go to the next level? How did you fall into the conservatory thing before?
Yeah, because I just didn't have any grades to actually get into a college.
Yeah, so this was a way to kind of build up a resume, so to speak?
Yeah, so I got my grades up there, and I got my chops way up. I never could have auditioned for the Hart School of Music. You know what I mean?
So there was a little bit of the backstory to getting into the Hart School.
Yeah. So
you were just some ace out of nowhere. I'll just never play jazz, but here you go.
No. I mean, getting into Hart would be like auditioning for Berkeley or something.
Okay.
It's hard. It's hardcore. And But to the conservatory, all I did was show up and play one of my songs for the guy.
Okay, so they know you're at least competent in your bass, you understand it, and then what did you learn from the book. What do they call it? The book. What's the book of standards? The American.
Yeah, like
book?
the real book or whatever.
Yeah, that's the thing I was
like
searching
we
for.
studied there, like, and all I did there was music.
Mm-hmm.
I studied, basically jazz and rhythm and piano and vocals for 2 solid years.
Okay, so not strictly guitar.
No, actually, it was kind of a lot of different things, but
Well-rounded.
guitar was my declared instrument.
Yeah.
And then and that was amazing. That was my favorite thing because it was just music. The Hart School was kind of like I wound up majoring in music and music business.
Yeah.
They have like a music business major.
Oh, that's
so
good.
So I'd have like a
Not
backup.
many of us understand that side of it.
Yeah, well, it's all irrelevant now.
Oh.
Pretty much. But
what you learned was irrelevant now.
yeah, pretty much because it was a lot about like labels and publishers and kind of. But it did help me as, we get in, we're going to talk about, Sid, my royalty-free music site. It helped me learn about licensing and how to run a business and stuff like that. So it kind of did parlay into what's now been like a part-time business for me for, 10 years.
Yeah, let's wrap on that for a bit now. I mean, we can go back to the lineage of your development, but I want that's a nice tie-in for this site that you have now, which I was perusing before and going through. You've got so many categories and genres of music that you talk about. That what is that? What is all that stuff?
Yeah, it's just weird.
Dano Music is
DanoSongs.com.
DanoSongs.com.
Yeah, it's a royalty. It's a weird story. I'm telling you, it's a strange thing because, I got into music. The only thing I ever wanted to do was kind of like what you and I do. Just be a singer-songwriter and have a band. That's like all I wanted to do, and have like a record deal and like tour and have that be my life. That's what I wanted. Obviously back in back in the 90s when I was doing all that and going to college and all that. And I tried.
Yeah.
Lord knows I tried. I did demos. I sent them out. I talked to some label people. I had a couple label people come out and see me back when there was actual like record deals and people understood how any of it worked.
What kind of band was it? Was it like in like the popular grunge thing, or was it in like your own style?
It was kind of like a little kind of like polished rock. When people hear it, I have the album still. It's people say it's kind of like light Alice in Chains.
Okay.
It's kind of like pop rock meets Alice in Chains. So yeah, it was very 90s influenced.
Kind of like, what's that song? The shelf in the room that's so far away. It's like one of those.
Is that an Alice in Chains?
No, it's one of those like post grunge. I can't remember the name of the band.
Like almost like Toad and the Wet Sprocket meets Alice in Chains.
All
90s.
Right. Like a Fuel a little bit.
Yeah, it's like it was of the time, and I gave it a shot. And
what was that band called?
It was just me. It was just this singer-songwriter. I was going by like Daniel James.
But did you have like a set backing band, or people who come in and record?
No,
I had.
That was part of why it didn't work for me.
Oh.
What happened was I had one band do the album, and it was like super produced, really nice. I mean, I had labels come to see me because of it.
This was out of what area?
I was doing it all. I was living in Connecticut, going down to do showcases, in New York City.
Okay. So you're tapping into the NYC.
I was trying to go into New York City. Okay. And I was in Boston for a time, trying it up there as well. And, and then what happened was, the band did not sound like the album.
Oh, so you had different people playing live, or the same guys, and it wasn't as produced?
No, different people.
Okay, so you had these recordings and assembled a band around it. What'd you do? Like, here, man, can you learn this? Can you learn this? Was it that kind of thing?
Yeah, but I didn't take it seriously enough, and I think to really get that sound, you gotta be like, the labels are like, I like this nice, clean 90s sound, and then you go there, and if they don't hear that, then they're like, what the heck is this? And that's what happened to me.
Oh.
That's what happened.
So do you think, is there I don't want to say a lesson to be learned, but is there something about putting yourself in a box that's better recorded and all that, even though you don't have the band to back it up? Is that shooting yourself in the foot?
Well, I think you gotta be better live.
Yeah.
You gotta take what you got recorded and be at that and better.
Okay.
It can't really be different.
Yeah.
I went into it and started playing live, and it was just not the sound that was on the record. at all, really.
Yeah.
Some of the songs were I was playing them the same.
It's
but-
interesting to learn because it sort of flies in the face of the concept that like you want your recording to be the best thing possible and
Yeah.
maybe cheat a little bit in the studio to like impress somebody. But you're saying it kind of bit you in the
Yeah.
end because it's like, well, you weren't really presenting that live. Interesting. I would have thought
Yeah.
that like if you can make a good recording, like that should be what matters because that's what goes out on the radio. That's what people are buying. You
No,
know?
like back then, live was so important. Everything. Well, it is. I don't even know. I don't even understand all that now anymore.
Yeah.
But back then, it was like, we're gonna go see him live. The demo was just to get to the live show because the live show to them, and it still is, right, is how everything drives sales. Well, now
Yeah.
now YouTube drives sales. I
Right.
think. I don't
Yeah.
even understand
Who
it
knows?
anymore.
Someone's shaking a magic 8-ball somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah. That's what drives sales. Yeah, some kind of freaking magic.
Well, I can see in the 90s that paradigm making sense because if you consider what happened with grunge, Nirvana,
Yeah.
Pearl Jam, etc., it was like this unseen like meteor that hit the music business.
Yeah.
Like, wait, we weren't paying attention to this live scene that's suddenly
Yeah.
catapulting because you look at what that displaced on the charts. So it was like, Paul Abdul and Garth Brooks and this and that. Like, what Michael Jackson, it wasn't a band oriented, top chart. So having a band come out of nowhere and bring that grassroots, that might make sense to what you said, why the live thing was.
Well, think about
Pop.
it now. There was no social media, so nothing,
Yeah.
man. There was no internet,
No.
if you can even believe it.
Maybe like
I mean,
GeoCities or something.
GeoCities in the late
Whatever.
90s.
I said that terribly. didn't
That's okay. No, I like that, GeoCities. I like that. That's cooler sounding than GeoCities. But yeah, we were on GeoCities.
Yeah.
I mean,
I? Angel Fire.
yeah, Angel Fire, man. Yeah.
How much flashing banners did you have?
That's a trip, man. And so, think about it. They had no measure other than how many people came to your live shows. Period.
Yeah.
I mean, because you're not going to be. They actually, they want to know your record sales. They want to know how many people are coming to your live shows, or you better just be slick as hell.
Yeah.
And I think
Really packaged, you mean? Well
Yeah,
produced, like your show is down.
Or yeah, like, and I think that's why, like, my record, it was really good, like, and it was just perfect, and it got their interest, and then it was like there was just nothing to back it up.
Like the presentation didn't follow through with like the promise or something like that.
No, not at all.
Now, what did that do for you? Was that like frustrating as hell? Where you're like, screw it, I'm done, I can't do this, or did you be like, let me try harder? Like, what did it do?
Yeah, well, what happened is it coincided with my first kid, right? So, and then
That'll change things.
Yeah, and then I'd already had like a day. I had to work, obviously, right? Because I was just an original guy. I wasn't doing like Phoenix Tree now. We do 3-hour shows and covers, and we actually make money.
Yeah.
That's actually
It's a working
like
band.
That's like worth our time. It's like a part-time job.
Yeah.
But when you're doing 30-minute showcase sets, it's not a job.
Yeah, you're losing money on that.
Yeah, so
you
I
gotta
had a
spend
job.
all the money to get there.
And then I had to kind of focus on that. And then that kind of leads into the Dano Songs thing because I got into the music business and I started work for this company in the late 90s called Baudway. And it was this...
Baudway.
Baudway.
Ball with the Baudway?
Baudway.
Kid Rock, did he start that?
No, it was like a twist on baud because baud was like, it's a measure of internet speed.
Oh.
Baudway.
B-A-U-D is it spelled?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, and
I was
this-
thinking B-A-W, like ball with the ball, the bang, the bang.
Oh, yeah.
Kid Rock.
Broadway. That's nice. That's awesome. So I go and I get this job for this company that's like one of the first companies to have like websites for music publishers.
Oh.
So this guy, the owner, would fly us out to like Nashville and we'd do presentations, right? So I was learning about the web. I was learning about publishing.
And this is kind of in the infancy of web music going on.
So we were meeting with like EMI Publishing, you know, in their big boardrooms. I mean, it's fancy, man. Those people, it's no joke. It's like,
what was it like being in that environment? Was it intimidating? Were you like, this is weird? Like, what did you feel like being in there?
it was weird. We'd be in Sony Music presenting, you know, our solutions, software solutions to them. And it was like, I just wish I was an artist signed here.
Yeah.
That's all I cared about.
Like, did it feel like they were looking for something different, or like they were just intimidating in a different way? Like, what was their vibe that they were?
Their vibe was like, you know, they're just business people.
Yeah.
They don't care.
They don't give a crap about the artistic values. Like, what's the bottom line?
And they were very, it was like, you know, the executives, you know, when you get executives who are really good at what they're doing, you know, it's kind of all about them.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
They're their own brand, right?
Yeah. So it's like, here's the acts that like I've found and that I'm present. You know what I mean?
Yeah, here's the feather I put in my cap, and here's how I did it.
Yeah. That's kind of the whole vibe there. It was a weird thing.
So you
know?
were being like scouted, potentially acquired.
Yeah, well, we were trying to sell them websites and stuff. And then, believe it or not, then also one of my first jobs was I worked for Command do you know Command Music?
No.
They created and started Ovation.
You mean the guitar company?
Yes.
Really?
So Command Music, Mr. Command, is one of the biggest.
Mr. Command. Is that the guy's name?
Mr.
Is his last name Command?
It's Kaman.
Oh, no, okay, not C-O-M.
No, Mr. Command.
Mr. Command.
Mr.
Sounds
Command.
like some S&M stuff. I don't know.
I totally did. Yeah.
Hi, Mr. Command, you are Mrs. Obey.
Exactly. So anyway, so this guy is one of the oldest, most successful aerospace companies.
Whoa.
But he was a hobby guitar player. So that's how he, from his knowledge of chemistry and engineering, created
why they look so
the back
unusual.
of the Ovation.
Yeah, as you have as a prop. Man, did you say this? Are you pitching for them? Do you work for Ovation?
No, not at all.
Or do you work for
I
Mr.
did.
Command?
I did. Yeah, he's in charge.
Yeah. It is unusual how the back is, you know, that curved plastic, but I guess I think they have from their headstock, it looks like a lute or something.
Yeah.
Where it's got that, like, I guess some of those medieval instruments are like almost half of a gourd or something that was strung up. I don't know, but
it
that
is kind of like a like almost like a old lute. Yeah. It's cool, right? But they're very impractical because you can't put a snark on the headstock. It's a pain in the ass.
Oh, because of how it's curved?
Yeah, I was trying to tune up before and I was like, I forgot I can't put the snark on the headstock.
They always felt a little funny to me on the way they sat because they wanted to like rock around.
Yeah, I'm thinking of getting a new one.
Yeah.
I've had that guitar for 20 years.
Oh, really?
So yeah, it's old.
Frets
Yeah.
still hold up? Did you have to refret it?
No. It's all cracked. It's, you know, completely busted up.
Yeah,
but
it's got some life on it. That's for sure.
It still stays in tune perfectly. It's unbelievable.
Hey, man, well, that's a testament to Mr. Command and his engineering
Well, he's in
skills.
charge.
Yeah. He better
He's
be.
the man in charge.
Is he shooting rockets with Elon Musk these days? What is he doing?
I don't know what he's doing, man. But if Elon Musk was around, he would have been probably.
So you got in...
So that was one of my
situation
first
where you-
jobs. Yeah, I worked for the string factory. They had Command, Kaman strings, and they're still
Okay.
sold. And I was the product manager for the string company.
Yeah.
So I had to go all around the country, like helping to market and sell the strings.
Whoa.
So they
How
were
do you
like,
pitch strings to a new place?
well, you were going around to like music stores and retailers and working with the advertisers. But one of the things I had to do is the website.
Yeah.
So I got into the web. So that kind of is when I realized and I saw all the programs.
You can shake that if you want. I see you pick it up.
I keep
We can shake
thinking
it
it's a
together.
stress ball.
Are you stressed out? I can give you something to squeeze if you are.
No, that's okay. I'm not
you can
stressed
squeeze
out.
the egg or shake it.
I'm
It's
quite
cool.
relaxed, but it does look tempting. I like those squeezy stress things.
Oh, yeah.
I think there's something to that.
Those ones where like the eyes pop out. Have you ever seen those?
Oh, those
dolls
are
where it's
even
like-
better. Those are even better, yeah. Or the booby ones.
Yeah.
We won't go into
There's
that
some of
too
those like
much.
Sportsman's Guide catalogs where they have like all those weird, can coolers and T-shirts, and then have like
Yeah.
deer stands and gun racks, like all that mismatched, paraphernalia.
Hats.
Yeah.
Camouflage hats.
Who farted hats or whatever. Yeah. Beer drinking hats.
Beer drinking hats.
That's a good band name, huh?
Good song. There's a beer drinking hat song.
Really? I'm
Somewhere.
unaware of it.
Somewhere.
Who's it by? Those guys who did the detachable penis song?
It sounds about right.
Probably one of
Yeah.
those 90s Bloodhound Gang-esque bands.
It sounds about right. One of those, like, what is it? Red Solo Cup? It's a country
Yeah,
song.
okay. Oh, yeah.
Everybody's going to country, man. Darius Rucker.
Yeah, well, that Tender Crisp Bacon Cheddar Ranch has really turned him. Once he did that Burger King commercial.
Was that what it was?
He was wearing the cowboy hat and everything. The new Tender Crisp Bacon Cheddar Ranch. You don't remember that commercial?
No, is that what turned him?
I think so, man.
He
Because
was like,
that's
there's
the-
a future in this.
Yeah, there's money in that. But you
Yeah.
see, I mean, I guess, there's always been a market for the country music, but it has come back around. But a lot of modern country, to me, sounds like Def Leppard, but if you took out the electric guitars and put in some like violins and
Yeah.
like made it a little bit, but it's like, those are kind of like Def Leppard songs.
Yeah,
a lot
like
of them.
Shania Twain, man.
Well, Mutt Lange produced her and Def Leppard.
Yeah,
So, well,
it's like she was kind of the foundation of modern country in a way.
Yeah.
She was the first like real big pop country crossover.
well, she did do that album, right? Up or something, where it was like recorded both ways.
Yeah.
It was like a 2-disc.
Oh, it was both ways?
I thought it was
it's
something like
pop
that.
and country?
I think so. I don't remember if they were totally different songs or it was the same songs recorded in different arrangements. It was something like that, where it was like a crossover thing, where it was like, I can do pop, I can do country. But honestly, I don't know if it was the same songs done in 2 different treatments.
Yeah.
But it could have been. That would have made sense.
Well, it's funny because rock, has really come down as a genre, right?
Yeah.
I mean, back in the day, it was like everything.
The thing, yeah.
And pop was like, but then like EDM, like electronic dance music, combining that with pop, kind of like combining it with hip hop, just took over. And then country, and then like, what is rock?
And now there's hip hop.
Is that hiccups?
Hip hop is when it's like half rap, half country.
Oh yeah. And then like
I don't know who would fall into that category, but it's like there are certain
Yeah.
songs where it's like you can tell like there's some of these hip hop elements in this country song.
yeah, and then like there's a new Miley Cyrus tune she did with some electronic producer that's like it's like a pop country electronic dance music
Yeah.
with like banjo in it, and it's like, damn, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty innovative and it's a really good song.
Well, I guess
Yeah.
as you go, it's the blending of genres that becomes
Yeah.
the new thing, because I suppose at a certain point, once like there's these roots that were established of like, okay, people dig 4/4 rhythm and they dig, this bass and bass and drums is the heartbeat of the band, and then it's like once it's been done to death, I guess the sound dynamics have to change in some way in order to be,
Yeah. Something fresh. And then it's interesting, I don't put on rock radio much, but when I did lately, I realized now the rock that is big now is actually really, really rootsy.
Yeah.
Those guys, like, what's their name? Every single song has like,
The Black Keys?
Like, it's kind of like very sing-along-ish. It always seems like there's a bunch of people singing.
Yeah.
And it's like a lot
you
of
mean all those like folk, I call them folk soda.
Folk rock
I call
stuff.
it folk soda. Tastes like real folk, but it ain't.
But it ain't.
It's got all that,
It's pop,
hey,
rock. Hey,
ho,
ho.
A lot of hey hoes
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
single.
Yeah, man.
Or it's got like the real sparse intro, then it goes
Yeah.
ding, 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 and then banjo, and then bass, and then it's
Yeah.
like it builds, and then it goes to the big epic, very cinematic.
But like some of those albums are some of the top sellers.
Yeah. Yeah, you got Mumford and Sons. They started the
Mumford
trend.
and
The
Sons.
Lumineers.
The
You've
Lumineers, yeah.
Then that was like the head and the heart, or the heart and the hand, or whatever. Anything
Yeah.
doing with that, Shovels and Rope, and there's all these spin-offs of that. But it's that, yeah.
But if there's any rock that's in the public, that's it, really.
Yeah, you got that, or you got the Imagine Dragons camp. You know,
Oh,
where it's
but
that
that's
kind of-
EDM though.
we
Sort of.
consider it that, but most people consider that rock. You know, it kind of started with that, like, what was that song, Sail? This is how an angel dies. They
They think that's rock.
Yeah, that's what new rock is.
Wow.
Imagine Dragons is rock.
I thought Nickelback was the Nickelback of rock.
Oh,
and
they're actually
Imagine-
cool now in comparison.
Yeah,
Imagine
they
that.
are.
The nickels flipped.
Yeah, they are cool compared to freaking Imagine. I swear.
I call it Disney rock, man. It's like they got that
It's-
Disney. You expect
Yeah.
to see like an alien on a surfboard and some like CGI
Yeah.
world like to that chorus. But that's what rock is. you
It's
know?
like they're the one of the few on regular radio that I'm like, I literally cannot listen to this.
No.
I don't know what it is. What is it that's, because I'm a musician, I'm open.
Yeah.
Like, you know, but for them, I'm like, I'm not open.
No,
to
I
this.
feel the same way. Like I'm trying.
Yeah.
I'm fighting that battle. Like, am I just one of those people like they
am I
were
snob?
when Frank Sinatra was the thing, and then like, who are these Beatles and Rolling Stones
Yeah.
coming along? That's not real music. Like, are
Right.
we just those people?
I know.
At this point, and we can't open our minds to the fact that this is what people are into, or is it actually really bad? I think it's just actually really bad.
It's bland.
I just don't think there's competition.
It's bland.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I don't get it, man. I don't know.
It makes me wonder, like, are we, is rock the jazz, you know, where jazz was the thing, and you had Benny Goodman and big band stuff, and that was what people want to see. And then
Yeah.
now it's like, there's these little isolated pockets where people still go to see live jazz. Like, is that what rock is now?
Kind of. I mean, and then of course you've got all the old bands that, you know,
Dinosaurs.
that will draw because millions of people grew up with their tunes.
Yeah.
But you won't hear the Stones. What channel plays the new Stones album? It's
Yeah.
an FM channel.
Right, and arguably, like, what have they done that deserves that much notoriety in the past
Yeah.
30 years? You know, it's like,
Yeah.
they don't need to write new songs. They just do because that's what they do. And awesome, great. I mean,
Yeah.
good on you. I would do the same thing, but it's like,
It's interesting.
the spark
man.
was lost somewhere along the way. And I
And-
wonder what it was.
Yeah, I don't know. And then what's interesting is, you know, we think, oh, streaming, Spotify, Pandora, everybody listens to that. But if you look at statistics, the majority of mainstream, most Americans still hear the most music on regular radio.
Terrestrial radio. That's
Regular
still-
old turn on. And to be honest, a lot of times, unfortunately, because I don't have that fancy Bluetooth stuff in my car yet,
Yeah.
I have a little old car, I revert to what station can I get in that's not
Yeah.
going to make me sick, you know?
Yeah, if I can get it, WXCI, you know?
Yeah, if
it
I can
doesn't
get
come in great up here, so as I'm like driving to work,
Yeah.
it comes in a little bit better and a little bit better, you know?
Right.
But it's like, when I listen to the regular rock stations, I'm like, oh, it's the same old, same old,
I
same
know.
old, same old. And
I
like,
know.
I try to put a smile on my face, but like, I can't hear Cold as Ice again.
I know. It's so crazy, man.
So you're doing the as we got round about to the Dano Songs site. And
Oh, yeah,
How did you decide? You said you got in on the early stages when the web
And all that.
music were coming together, and
Yeah.
you saw into that world. And did you start the Dano Songs back then?
Yeah, so that was kind of the seed of it all in me, just getting to be the web. And then I picked up some programming skills along the way. I actually wound up working, instead of in the music business, I wound up working as a programmer all these years. Mm-hmm. So I've been, because
Were you a computer guy before that, or you
No.
just fell into it?
I fell into the web. I saw all these programmers, and I saw, like, that's what I wanted. All they did was show up, you know?
Yeah.
Just sit there and code and leave. I
Work
was-
on their own, didn't have to deal with people. and
don't have
office
to
interaction,
deal with nothing.
Your own world.
Yeah, because I'm like, I don't care about any of this stuff in these jobs. You know, I'm
Yeah.
like, and coding kind of like puts my zen on, man. I swear it uses the same part of the brain as like writing a song. It's the
Really?
same reward centers,
You feel the same flow, the lock-in?
same flow.
Wow.
I get a code going and I'm testing it and I get that thing to run, I'm like, yeah, same feeling.
Yeah.
It's crazy, and it's helped me all these years because I have 4 kids, so
Yeah.
support my kids and all that. But anyway, but I started really getting into the internet underground and learning how people were making money, like with ads and stuff and all that stuff. As you know, as from being in podcasting, you know, the economics behind all that. Well, back
Yeah.
in the day, that was like mystery magic.
Right.
Because you had all these people putting up AdSense sites where they would get paid in like search engine optimization, you know, trying to get your site to the top of Google. But back then it was like AOL or whatever it was,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Yahoo. So I started getting into that and all fascinated. And I'm like, how can I use this for music?
Right.
You know? And that was really the birth of like Dano's song. So that was about 2000 and my first page. I put up one page in like 2008. And what I did was I tried to get it listed in the search engine for free MP3s. And because I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I have a job. I have kids, you know, so I'm like, I have this album. So I put up the album free.
Yeah.
It's like a typical story, right?
Yeah.
I put my album up free and 1 million people downloaded it. Well, back then it actually kind of happened to me.
Whoa.
Now,
Really?
yeah, over time. Yeah, believe it or not, all around the world. Yeah. So what happened was I put them up free, and my idea was I'm going to sell this MP3 offer where people were signing up for, I think it was like mp3.com or something like that. And I would get like 50 cents every time someone signed up for that offer.
Yeah.
So I wasn't making any money from my music, but I was making money. I started to make a little bit of money.
So there was a service that you were offering, and the free album was like, here's your introduction to the service?
No, the free album was like, these are my free MP3s, but right next to it was an ad for download 1,000 free MP3s of all your favorite artists, yada, yada, yada. They click on that ad, go to this other site. I kind of forget what it was now. And if you had a link, that would get credited back to you.
Okay.
So I would start to make a little money with that. Then AdSense came out, which is Google's way. You can make money by putting ads on your site. So I started getting traffic. Well, anyway, I started doing research, looking around what was going on. There's this site called Incompetech. And I saw this guy's site. And what he was doing, he was using this thing called the Creative Commons license. And the Creative Commons license is like, it's not a copyright alternative. It's a built-in license on the internet. Like a lot of images are licensed with the Creative Commons license on Flickr. So if you see like, oh, this image was from so-and-so, but a lot of photographers will allow their images to be used in like blogs or whatever if you credit them for free.
So is that when you see the little like Getty images or whatever in the corner?
Well, no, that's paid stock photography.
Okay.
This is different. See?
Okay.
Yeah, so anyway, this guy Incompetech, he offered all his music Creative Commons. So you use it in your video or film or podcast or whatever, you can use it free if you credit me.
Okay.
And he had ads on his site and all this. But the kicker was, if you don't want to credit him, you got to pay him $30 for that license.
One-time use or
One-time use in that. Well, no, you can use that song for whatever you want. Well, he might. I'm not sure, but it was like a $30 license to use it if you can't credit him.
Got it. So either way, he's either getting money or he's getting advertisement for himself or just notoriety, whatever it is, promotion
to drive traffic to the site. And this guy was getting listed number 1 for years as royalty-free music when you Google in royalty-free music.
Yeah.
So I was like, what's this guy doing? So I looked at him and I actually wound up meeting him. I went down to I emailed him and I had this little site. I was like, you inspired me to do what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I was like, can I meet with you? Well, I saw this guy's numbers. This guy was getting like, let's just say his ad revenue. Well, I'm not going to tell because that would be right now. Let's just say.
You can say like how many figures.
Yeah, well, I shouldn't even say that.
Okay.
Let's just say his traffic was back in the day.
Was it a full-time job?
Yes.
Good enough.
In New York City. All he did was this site.
So he was able to support himself through that
fully.
And wasn't scrounging.
Very, very well.
Got it.
And I was like, wow, this is wild. So anyway, I started just doing, but it's only instrumentals. And I was experimenting with like, there's Jam Studio online. There's like like Sony Acid Loops. There's all kinds of this software. Because I had my job, I had my kids. I would just come home and veg out and do these little instrumentals and throw them up there. Why?
Yeah.
I had nothing better to do.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what to do.
And did that satisfy your creative outlet as well by
Yeah.
being able to compose these instrumental tracks and stuff?
Sure.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'd record a vocal song and I'd separate the acoustic. And some of the most used songs I have on there are just an acoustic guitar.
Yeah.
And then I put at the bottom of my site, I have the vocals because they're just not used as much. Because people want it as, if you have a little thing in your podcast, you don't need a vocal song.
Yeah, it's more interchangeable that way.
Yeah.
When you don't have the specific words or story or anything going on. So that was the thing you hit on that was working well.
Anyway, back in the day, this is now going back to up till 2012, about 4 or 5 years. So at this point, literally, I had 100 songs up there. Literally, I don't mean to brag, but thousands of people down. At one point, if you Googled my name on YouTube, it was 200,000 videos.
Wow.
And it started to come up. My kids would bring up videos at home, and I'd be like, that's my freaking song on that video. What the hell? Well, it started to get out of control. What happened was I was getting so much email, and then copyright issues started to happen because YouTube Content ID happened. You know what that is, of course. So YouTube Content ID.
Yeah, explain it for people who may not know what it means.
YouTube Content ID is if you're a publisher or a musician or whatever, you can sign up and get your audio into YouTube Content ID so that if a podcast or whoever uses it, you're going to get ads placed on that podcaster's podcast on YouTube, and you're going to get a slice of the revenue because he used your commercial track. Now, you don't want that as a podcaster, mainly, right?
Yeah.
It's really meant for labels to get a cut of money when people are recording their kid and in the background is Bon Jovi playing.
Yeah, you mean it's just naturally on their stereo in their home and that song's there, but it wasn't an intentional, they synced it up. It's just captured live, you mean?
Yeah.
You want some more water? I can get you some more.
Yeah, I keep going for that.
Yeah, if you want to sit here awkwardly, that'd be fine. If you want to keep talking, that'd be fine. Either way. But,
okay.
I'm teasing, man.
No, I'll just
be
wait.
right back up. Yeah.
I'll do a quick little song. Freedom in the Sun, Phoenix Tree.
Cool.
I didn't get to
Impromptu.
sing it, but I'm fine.
I just saw you reaching for the water. I didn't want your throat to go dry. But
Yeah, I kept
that was a
reaching
little water getting music.
That was awesome. Thank you very much.
Yeah. I don't want you to be parched. So anyway, you were saying that with this, YouTube ID stuff, when you started getting
so what
your
would
songs flagged in videos, how did that work?
Well, what would happen was, here's one example of what would happen. A guy would download my music, sing over it, and put out an album. And then he would put that out through CD Baby.
Whoa.
And CD Baby started having a program where they would put YouTube Content ID on your release. So now I have all these users, thousands, okay, who have a song on their videos that now is getting flagged.
Whoa.
And I'm getting I'm at work trying to raise my kids, and I'm getting dozens of emails from pissed off people.
About what? What were they pissed off
Their
about?
videos were getting flagged.
Because they stole your music to begin with.
Because this other guy took my music, sang over it, and released it on his own. That's why to this day I don't allow that.
That is crazy.
Crazy.
That somebody would, one, do that, but then, that it gets back to you and you're getting the flack for it.
And they think I'm trying to charge royalties on my music.
Yeah, scoot up again just so you're a little bit closer to the mic.
And that the music was supposed to be royalty free.
Wow.
But that's just
that's
one
like a
instant.
web of unintended consequences.
That's just one instance. In another case, some producer downloaded all of my music, put out, because he thought, oh, it's free,
Yeah.
put out 10 albums of my music, labeled it, put it through the Content ID system. And all my music, I had hundreds.
Wait, he stole all of your music?
He literally downloaded it and put out 10 albums of my music without ever talking to me.
Oh my God, that's insane.
It was insane because that's what happens when you download stuff freely.
Yeah.
And people don't read the license. They go, oh, it's free.
Yeah.
It's
It means
like,
I
are
can
you
do whatever
kidding
I
me?
want with it. So did you have to register this stuff ahead of time? Did you get any copyrights on this stuff? Like, how did you protect yourself, or you couldn't?
No, I did. I had documentation from just every song.
Well, I suppose
is
you have
out
like
there.
the metadata of when you uploaded it. And
Everyone.
created it, right? Yeah.
And also, hundreds of people have already put the song like on videos,
Yeah.
like from 5 years ago. So there's proof everywhere.
So what did that look like? How did you pursue that? Were you able to get
I was so
money from these people, shut them down,
I
stop
was.
them?
Yeah, I was. I was able to. I had to deal with, I forget which publisher. It was a major publishing company.
Yeah.
Because it was
Who published this guy's BS album that he stole from you?
Yeah, because they didn't know he was a producer for them.
Yeah.
So it was like a sub-label of another label of some big label, like Warner or Sony or something.
Yeah.
So I was like with their lawyers.
Whoa.
And I was like, this is all my music.
Yeah.
And they're like, obviously the guy had since been gone. They couldn't get in touch with him, of course.
So he did some kind of scam on them and then just bounced and they.
Yes. So they took it all down and got it all out of the Content ID.
Well, that's
but
good.
from
At least
then
there was
on,
some recourse. I'm glad it wasn't a sad story where all of your stuff just got stolen and you were just screwed in the dirt.
So what I did was I wound up, I slowed it way down and I removed the free part. Mm-hmm. So you can download it now and you can try it for free, which is very unique. Like you can go to my site, download every one of my songs, try it in your videos, try it in your podcast, try and do whatever you want it. Like a lot of students use the music or whatever. Well, students can use for free, but
because it's only for a school project, and it's not being. So how do you track when something's getting profit made on it or not? Is that where it comes in? You can't.
I can. But what basically people are on their honor to be like, look, it's really the honor system. I mean, I don't know what else. So anyway, so now you have to pay if you're a prophet, which most people are. So they're like realtors or they're sometimes people will make money from their podcast, so they can't really say that they're, not making money,
Yeah.
So, and it's, $10 a song or $50 and you can just use the whole library. So it's very inexpensive. No royalty-free sites allow you to just download and try the music with no watermark.
Well, it just seems by and me looking at it recently, just before you coming on, there's a huge amount of content there that seems like $50 is like a steal for somebody to be able to use everything.
It is, and it's kind of like, in a way, a charity project.
But you gotta make something from it, man. You spent hours doing this stuff, recording it, making it, hosting, whatever.
Yeah.
There's you gotta cover your own costs at the base. I can't imagine. It seems like a hugely generous gesture in doing it that way.
It is. It's a part-time job, and it pays like what a part-time job would pay. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not now especially since I had some really big years back in the day, which was like, wow, I could, if I had no kids and I could live off this in a room,
Right. It was
a couple years
legitimate.
there. Now it's kind of like I just can't handle that kind of level.
And it was just you on your own, man. You didn't have any partners or people who were helping you with advisory or any. Man, that's rough. Having all that weight on your shoulders, navigating this environment where you're like, wait, people steal this stuff, and I got to go yell at them. Doesn't that suck? I don't want to like to pretend like those people don't exist.
And I also I used to promote the heck out of the site. I mean, I spent 30 hours a week promoting. I was doing podcasts. I was doing SEO. I was doing print stuff, all online, all over the world, and I just stopped. So I don't promote it. I charge, and I only allow free use if someone contacts me and telling me about their project.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a student from Helsinki and I'm doing this or that. Can I use your music? Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And I reply, and I have a license for that. And it's cool. I'm still very wary of the whole thing.
I can imagine after being taken through the ringer that way with this whole, sniper out there taking your whole stuff.
And
it's
you
gotta
don't
feel
know.
so disgusting to find out about.
And I've had people like, you stole this song from me, this or that. I need you to pay. I've had people try to
to you
do internet blackmail stuff.
Whoa.
And I'd be like, okay, exactly what song, from where, and show me your thing. And then it's like, oh, they disappear.
Oh, okay.
Because they were trying to scam me.
Yeah, just a bluff.
Yeah. So it's pretty crazy. But
Man,
there's
it's like the
such a
Wild West.
benefit. There's such a benefit because you'll see like anything from like, we just did this, whatever, stray pet thing, for instance. A lot of pet organizations who help stray pets, stray cats or whatever, will use the music, and it's like, oh, that's great to be a part of this, or a part of this project, or a part of all these different creative
When
works.
you can see it used for a good that you would support and you agree with.
But I'll be honest, I also can't really shut it down because I have to kind of be there to support all the people that have used it so far.
Oh, you mean you couldn't just take it off because then it would disappear, you mean?
Well, if I just disappeared,
Yeah.
if there was any issues with copyrights or claims or this or that,
Oh, there's no like precedence?
there's no, and there's nobody for them to go to say, this guy's claiming it's his song or whatever.
Yeah.
So I kind of have to like maintain this presence, and I kind of wish sometimes I could just shut it down.
Can you turn it into like a museum site or something? Where it's
Well,
like preservation only for historical purposes?
I've
Could you
thought
do that?
about making the whole thing public domain,
Yeah.
but the problem is that would be even more messy
Yeah.
for all the people who've already used it.
Right.
Because now you're going to have a complete Wild West
Yeah.
of people using that music.
Man.
So I can't really donate it, and I still can't really spend my time for nothing.
Right.
So I just kind of like don't touch it now.
Yeah.
I don't do anything with it
You let it
except
be.
I respond to support emails, and I answer questions basically, and I let it sit there.
Man. It's a crazy world that you just unveiled. I didn't know anything about that about you. Like I've known you for years, but like had no clue that this whole internet world of music was behind that beard.
Yeah, I know. It's so
Insane,
weird.
man. Oh, that's so cool to learn that like your whole story of bands in the '90s and going into these record companies and seeing the inside of when music was getting on the internet, and like because we have that very much in the forefront now with the streaming and music internet, starting back with Napster and all that stuff, the file sharing, where that blew apart, but you kind of saw it like, a decade before it happened.
I had all the songs on BitTorrent at one point, and I could see worldwide. It was like it was much more. It was actually like 10 million downloads. Whoa. Worldwide of these instrumental songs on BitTorrent.
Yeah.
Which is like completely underground.
Yeah.
Which was like, what I would do is I would use keywords in the song name. So I would say, sounds like Tom Petty, Bruce Springsteen, whatever it was. So when people
were there algorithms that were directing people? Like so you
people
knew about
would
those,
go to because I learned all about keywords. So people would go to BitTorrent and type Tom Petty, or whatever. That's one example, and then all my songs would come up, and then they would just be like, "Oh, what's this?"
Right,
and just download it, and it was all free. And it's like if I had a penny
for each one,
And now it's like, what good does any of that do me except making hassle for me?
Yeah, got too overblown.
Yeah.
So Where is it now with Phoenix Tree? Let's get into that. What's going on with the band, man?
Yeah, man.
We did the Wild West of the internet world.
Yeah.
That was a huge learning experience for me. But like, I want to talk about what's up with you now.
Yeah,
what's
man.
going on now?
I'm just loving music
Yeah.
and loving life. I love Justin and Mike Schwartz.
Yeah.
You know, we went through quite a saga over the years. Phoenix Tree was its own drama.
Yeah, I know there was the Heartwood album, and there was some things with that. You know.
Yeah,
that
we
kinda...
raised like $5,000, and God love him, you know, Dave Bonin, percussionist. I absolutely love him. We're really good friends now.
Yeah.
It's hard to have 5 people in a band.
Yeah.
And the personalities and the different things that come, and certain people can get really ambitious, and other people's aren't as ambitious, and it's like
if the commitment levels aren't aligned, then it naturally would make tension. It's like an earthquake. There's this crust wants to stay here, this one wants to push, and you gotta
and musical direction
yeah.
happen with us too, you know, clashes in musical direction.
How did Phoenix Tree start? Where did that come from?
Oh,
you came out of this, you did the 90s rock thing, and then you were doing the internet music. When did you start Phoenix Tree? Was it called Phoenix Tree from the beginning?
Yeah, so what happened was, so then my kids kind of grew up a little, right? I'd been doing the Dano Songs thing, kind of hiding out, you know, raising my kids, working, just doing one day at a time. Years go by. And then they kind of grew up, and I kind of moved on from that, and I started to get out and do open mic more. And that was it. That was Cousin Larry's open mic. You know, It's like infamous.
It all seems to go back to that.
It does. It all goes back to that. And Jeff, of course.
So how'd you
Gorson.
get in there? What you just stopped in one day?
One day,
or what?
I was just this quiet guy back then because I was like real, you know, in my own world.
Kind of insular? Or are you naturally introverted?
I was very much more introverted because it had been a long time since I'd hung out and partied and, you know, like
did you feel at all
decade.
like defeated from what didn't work with that original band thing?
Yes, of course. Sure. Yeah, sure. You know, it's like, well, what am I doing with life? You know, I don't know what I'm doing. I just figured I'll go out and maybe try to see what an open mic is.
Yeah.
So I went to Cousin Larry's, and I used to just quietly bring my little classical guitar, and I'd play covers on the classical and sing, and you know, people liked what I was doing, but really what kicked it off there was when they made an open jam.
Yeah. Okay.
That was awesome. They had a kit back there. Everybody come up, you know, Nantambu on the djembe.
Yep.
6-7 was back there back then on the bass or guitar. Frank Stewart on drums, Connor on drums, you know.
Johnny on whatever.
Johnny on everything. Bass, he'd play bass a lot.
Yeah.
We would all hop up for each other. I'd play bass a lot.
Really?
Back in the day, I always wanted to jump up on the bass.
Yeah.
I loved
It's like
getting
a
on the
very
bass.
powerful lead guitar in a way.
Bass is fun, man.
Yeah.
And I'd hop on drums a lot too. Anyway, so that all kind of happened.
Did that re-inspire your
yes
want to get involved? Because you're like, hey, everything's welcome here. We can jump up on whatever, do whatever. Did that give you a fire to say like, oh, this is fun again?
Well, it reminded me of high school.
Yeah.
And hanging out, and I was like, friends. And then I started, drinking again. You know, and I was like, oh, I can handle drinking, you know, a little bit. I'm good, and I still am pretty good. I was like, drinking, friends, music, what have I been doing? This is like, you know what I mean? So I remember all this. Yeah, why did I have to be all like, you know, because you figure you're growing up and you're all serious and you got kids and a job and, you know, you feel old and it's like, wait, no, not at all.
Yeah, what is all that for?
What the hell?
Who am I fooling?
Yeah, so we had a blast. I mean, we had a great time. Lots of good music and good times, you know. So like I said, I set out to write songs, and once I wrote those songs, those 3-chord songs, then people kind of like formed around me with those songs. And Bonin called it, you know, Dano and Friends at first, I think. And that went for like a year, and of course that's stupid, you know.
Yeah, Philish and Friends, like what are you?
Yeah, what is that? That's a dumb name. And so, I don't know, there's a line in one of my songs, Newborn in America. Mm-hmm. And one of
That's
the
the
lines,
song title?
The song is Newborn in America. And I've always loved America. I don't always like the current leader or whatever, but I love the principles of America because it's engineered by enlightened people.
Yeah. That's what's wonderful is we have the
Yeah.
ability to say we don't like what's going on, and that's
Yeah.
good. That's the most American thing you can do
Yeah.
is say, like, I disagree with whatever's happening because that's what free speech, you know?
Yeah.
It's good to have that. You know,
It's wonderful.
Dissent is the wonderful thing we are allowed to have.
Yeah. And also term limits.
Yeah.
Because it's like, that's why I love the country. People get so upset, and I'm like,
It's gonna go away
America,
eventually.
baby. America. Science as applied to politics.
Yeah.
He's gone.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
Yeah.
Those guys were highly intelligent people who founded this country. God bless them.
Yeah.
They were enlightened. They believed in higher powers. They believed in like the whole, what are they called? You know, the whole
Freemason?
Freemasons. It's all just founded in spirituality and
Yeah.
morals.
Isn't
and
the thing you got to have some kind of belief? We don't care what it is, but you have
Yes.
to believe in some higher power. We're not discriminatory.
and we're not discriminatory,
Yeah.
and which is
Which
what-
freedom of religion is why, you know.
exactly, and that all stems from that.
Yeah.
Separation of church and state. I love it.
Yeah. So this song relates to that.
Newborn in America,
Yeah.
because everybody's so pessimistic all the time,
Yeah.
and I'm like, no, there's always a new beginning. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? We can make it what we want to make it. You
Right.
know, and sure, it's not perfect, but it's
It's malleable.
it's amazing.
More malleable than most
It
any
is.
other country in the world.
It is.
For anything you can say, we do live in sort of the best time and country if you consider what
I
you would have
felt
to
that way.
what you would have to deal with otherwise. Can't really
Yeah,
shake a stick at.
you
know,
can't. I mean,
what we don't have to deal with. If you stack that up, it's a lot higher for what we don't have to deal with than what we do.
It's incredible. And being in programming, I work with a ton of people from overseas.
Yeah.
And you don't even realize we're living our nice little daily lives, and they're sweating it
Yeah.
and hustling just to get a 6-month visa for work.
Yeah, and there's that statistic.
know?
Like, if you are making, I think it's $30,000 or more a year,
Yeah.
you're in the 1% of the world.
Yeah. Oh, it's insane.
Yeah.
It's totally
We complain about all the
crazy.
1% is coming. Like, no, like almost everybody who's like above the poverty line is kind of in the 1% of the world.
Yes,
if you
of
consider
the
that.
world.
So, newborn in America.
So anyway-
I don't want to get too political. We're
So
a
one
music
of the
podcast.
chorus, the chorus in Newborn America is like a phoenix tree, newborn in America.
Oh, the rising from the ashes.
Yeah, which was kind of
But with growth, because it's not just it's the tree which is growing more
yeah,
than just a rise and pff, there it goes.
right. It's coming out and being new, you know. And I don't know why I thought of that word. I don't know where half my lyrics come from, you know. But we're
Just
thinking
tapping
of it.
in. Do you
Yeah.
feel like you tap in?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I look at some of the words from my songs and I'm like, how the hell did I come up with that?
Yeah.
What was I thinking? I don't know, you know? And so like a phoenix tree, newborn in America. And anyway, so I was like, we were looking for a band name and I go, Phoenix Tree.
Mm-hmm.
And they were all
It's got a good ring to it too.
instantly, all of them were like, yes. And we were like, we ran with that.
Yeah,
And
you got
then-
that internal line like Eminem, Phoenix Tree, like it's the E in both of them
Something.
flows well.
Phoenix Tree. And anyway, so we went up with a bunch of drama, you know, because a lot of conflict, it's probably typical, right?
Yeah.
And we played a lot of shows over the years. We've been playing together for like 14 years now, me and Justin.
Wow,
And
it's a long-term relationship to have with a musician. It's very difficult to keep
Yeah.
together for a year, 2, 3, but 14. That's like a musical love, man. That's
well,
great.
and him and me and Jeff Gorson and one of our old bass players, Scott Anderson, we're all best friends. So
Yeah.
I was just down in New Haven with Justin and Jeff last
I saw
night.
some of those pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it was like, wow, like I'm so blessed, man, to have these
Got your crew.
these people. Yeah, I mean these guys are like just magical, you know. And it's like yeah, and to have that connection with Justin too and Mike. I'm a huge fan of Mike.
Oh, everybody
in
loves
every
Mike.
way.
Yeah. he's such a reliable drummer, and he thinks of the song, and he knows what the parts are and where they are, and it's like
and drives it home.
Yeah.
Especially because
he knows how to make a rock song work.
He does, and we've evolved really into a dance band.
Yeah.
Because we're working.
Dance music never goes out of style.
It doesn't.
Never.
And it's fun.
Yeah.
You know? And so anyway, we were kind of going more that direction. Others were going another direction. Some people don't drive. We won't name who.
Hey, man, things happen.
And anyway, so the band split up, and I felt really bad after doing this big, beautiful album together.
Yeah, that was the Heartwood album.
That just going on his Phoenix Tree, because Dave, especially Dave, he's really the band. More than me, all I ever did was just show up. Really.
Right.
Dave made everything happen.
Yeah.
And out of respect for him, I wasn't going to be like, Dave, you're out.
Yeah.
That's why we changed the name to the
Blackthorn.
now defunct stupid name, which should have never been a name anyway, Blackthorn Grove, which nobody could remember, pronounce, or care about.
Sounds like a bluegrass band if I were to.
It does,
guess.
yeah.
Like a somber one, like a goth bluegrass band.
Totally. And so we were that for a year while all our kind of relationships healed, you know. Mm-hmm. Me and Dave started hanging out again and became like great, much better friends.
Reacquainted the friendship.
Yeah, as friends. And he's actually a great guy.
He is. Yeah.
He's fun.
I always enjoy talking with him,
Yeah.
He's definitely a unique spirit in this world, which I always am appreciative of anybody who's a unique spirit, because it's like, you're different from the regular Henrys I see every day, or just blah, 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 blah. When you see somebody who's different, I'm attracted to that energy for no other reason than it's different and cool. Good on you.
Exactly. Totally. And I love that about him. And
he's never predictable, and
never.
I find that endearing about anybody, But when you have when you don't know what someone's gonna say, that's like cool to me,
Yeah, put you on guard a little bit.
Yeah, makes
in
you
a good
think.
way.
Yeah,
as long as it's not unpredictable and like they're gonna punch you in the face.
Oh, well, that's bad unpredictable. Or that's predictable. It's like, oh, this guy punches people in the face. I know it.
Stay away from him.
At some point or another, it's gonna happen.
Yeah,
you gotta have a bloody nose. But anyway, so now the Phoenix Tree is back in its...
Yeah, so...
it has reincarnated, as
yet
the Phoenix
again.
does.
Yet again,
I sense a theme here.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Living up to your image as the Phoenix Tree.
Truly, oddly
Growth
enough.
and rebirth.
Yeah, totally. It's weird, but... so I had to talk with Dave. I said, look, we're just going to be Phoenix Tree. I was like, you can play with us anytime. And it is. And to him... Hector Jimenez was one of our bass players, fantastic musician.
Yeah.
Guitar player, great guitar player.
Oh, yeah.
Percussionist, he's a great percussionist.
He's one of those all-around
fantastic musician, singer, harmonies were great with him. Scott Anderson, of course.
Yep.
He was our bass
player.
He's
known for
years.
like a bandana.
He's the bandana guy.
Yeah.
He's
I've definitely seen you play with him on a few gigs.
Yeah, we played with him for years. And anyway, so... they all have an invite. Is how I treated it. It's like, Dave, you play with us anytime. That's the spirit
of what you said about Larry. Is they brought you into this. Is like kind of, hey, if you're there, come and join us.
Yeah.
If not, cool, we'll do our own thing. Not reliant upon.
And that's how we still are. Like, I'll invite like Ruby White to come sing with us sometimes. Or like, Mike Schwartz is cool. He knows when we play Widows that Q is our guy.
Yeah.
That's just kind of how we are.
Yeah, live drum kit's always been a problem there. And, he can't, he hits hard. He hits good.
Yeah.
And you put him 3 feet from the bar and you're pissing people off no matter what. It's so hard in that space.
It is hard there, man.
So hard in that space.
And then we had a little run with Philemon. You remember him?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
As our keyboard and harmony. And
ooh, he's another great musician, man.
God.
And such a bright spirit, too.
Oh.
He just always seemed ecstatic to be there and playing wherever he was. It was like,
he raised
I
the
wish I could
energy.
bottle that, man.
I know. He raised the energy to even a whole other level.
Yeah.
I mean, that was some of him, Mike, Justin, and I together were like
Those
some
are
of
for
the
books.
best moments I've ever had. But we had some, we played with, Dave's going to kill me, but the keyboardist from Max Creek, I should know his name. I'm ashamed I don't. But we did a show with him.
I can be ashamed with you. We'll share the shame.
He played keyboards for us at a show.
Wow.
Dave did that. He did
Yeah.
all the booking. So Phoenix Tree has almost gone the way of Dano Songs for me now because I don't do anything for it.
Yeah.
And because Dave's not doing anything for it,
Right.
we just don't play a lot. But like it's okay because we have a show at the Note next month, and like I'm cool with that, you know. Like
Well, if it's serving the purpose that like you love to play, you're clearly like an inherent musician, and you love, as you said from the very beginning of starting, like it was about the hang and the jam and like
Yes.
making the music was the magic.
Yes.
So it's like if you can enjoy that, you've kind of won overall.
Yeah,
Because there are
exactly.
people, a lot of big famous bands who they get to this level, but they don't enjoy it.
They don't enjoy it.
anymore. It becomes
Yeah.
like a
they
thing that's like
Yeah.
to manage this. It doesn't fulfill them. So if you can fulfill that, scratch that itch.
Yeah.
You're kind of won already.
Yeah.
You know.
That's it. Right there.
Yeah.
You know? So that's where I'm at, man. Right
Awesome,
now.
man.
Yeah.
This has been so enlightening. I thought I knew you. It
Oh,
turns
yeah.
out I didn't. I knew it like a little like piece. Like I was looking at this like postage stamp size of the canvas. I'm like, wait, no, there's a whole picture here.
Right.
And that's what's so cool about having these long conversations, because it reveals a lot about you that it makes so much more sense. The whole vibe and presentation of how your music comes across. That like gives a better backstory to it. That's makes it more poignant.
That's so cool, man.
I'm
And we got to play together more.
yeah.
You got to come play lead or something.
I would love to sit in it.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Sing harmonies with us or something,
Do something.
I love it.
If
I
you'll
love
have me.
I love I'd love like just come up for a couple tunes, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's just awesome.
Dude,
it's
I'd
fun.
be down for that. If you
Yeah.
send me a tracks or whatever,
Yeah.
I won't say no to that.
Yeah.
So do you want to talk about any of the sites or anything, anywhere people can find your music, or what?
Yeah,
plug
well-
some things, and then maybe we'll do the song out at the end.
Sure.
I think we're wrapping up here. Unless there's anything else you want to touch on.
No, I mean
kinda went through
that's
the-
pretty much it,
Yeah.
And then we have Phoenix Tree. Mainly we do Facebook like everybody.
Yeah.
It's kind of all come down to that.
Well, one thing
now.
I wanted to say,
Yeah.
as I noticed, it was one of the first things I recognized about Phoenix Tree. When you guys play, you tend to do weave in covers that sound nothing like the original.
Yes.
And I love that.
That's our
I remember
thing.
like the first time I realized it was when you were doing the Diamonds. Who was that? I want to say Ariana Grande, but that's totally wrong.
Yeah.
What's her name?
What's her name?
I'm picturing her from
Shine
Barbados.
bright like a diamond.
Yeah. What's her name? That she was.
How can we not know her name? She's
We're
huge.
totally blanking. I'm seeing her face in my mind.
The shine bright like a diamond. Girl.
Yeah.
Rihanna.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, yes. And I remember like becoming aware as you guys were playing, like by the lyrics, like, oh, that's that Rihanna song, but it didn't sound anything like the
Yeah.
original. And I thought that was so cool how you guys reinvent songs. Was that a conscious effort? Or you
Yeah.
just like, I want to do things my own way. Here's how I want to do it. Like,
The whole premise goes back to we're gonna take this song and we're gonna jam on it
yeah.
in our way and just jam it. Like whether it's Hey Joe or whether it's Shine Bright Like a Diamond, or we'll do like Rock Down to Electric Avenue. We'll take all
Yeah.
kinds of, and we do Staying Alive.
There's songs
Staying alive. But we do it in our way.
so it doesn't read as a cover, which is cool.
Yeah.
It's like I almost feel like when someone does a cover, like if you're in a cover band trying to do the accurate representation, fine, one thing. But if you're going to cover as an original band, making it your own, then it's like you're delivering a new version of that song. Isn't
Yeah.
that much cooler? I think.
I enjoy it, and
Yeah.
I only do songs that I love
Yeah.
because I want to feel the feeling of that song. So there's two things that we've evolved into. That's one of them, and being basically a dance band now,
Yeah.
because that's where the fun's at.
People love
and
to
two,
move.
when we have a drummer that's not Mike, my shtick to him is, listen, when I look at you, it's to stop. Otherwise, assume we keep going. So in other words, what we do is
You got your stage cue.
weaving songs now. So what we'll do is we'll play for 45 minutes without stopping now. And so it's like, when I look at you, it's to stop. Otherwise, assume don't stop.
Yeah.
Mike knows. But if it's another drummer, they're not used to that.
Yeah.
And I love that because why stop?
Yeah.
We're dancing. We're having a good time.
Well, if you consider that's what like DJs do, they weave one song into the next.
Yes.
They match it, but there's no break, so it keeps the vibe going. So that's awesome
Yes.
to be taking that technique and using it in a live band with real instruments, because it's like people dig that dynamic.
Well, people
And
are
you're-
dancing.
Yeah.
Why are you going to stop?
Yeah.
You know, hopefully people are dancing. But even if they're not, it's so awkward for me every 3 minutes. It's like, all right, here's the clap expectation. All right, yay, great song. This is the next song. Oh, you know, it's like, I don't care about that.
Unless you do Ramon style, just one to the next and you don't give a break.
Yeah, well, in a way, right, you could do that too. Right, you could do that. Yeah. I mean, that would be one alternative. Just bent and go right into it. Yeah. But I love playing
Yeah,
like
continuing
that.
the vibe, because that's creating the atmosphere.
And that's what I want to do. You know, if we're at note, it might be a quiet vibe, but we keep going, and then it slowly transitions. People finish dinner, and then people might start drinking, and you know,
Yeah.
and then start dancing, and you know, you gotta kind of, when you're playing 3 hours, it's very interesting.
Yeah.
You know?
And having the music continue is more important than like cramming as many songs as you can to the space.
Right.
Like you're better off having some jam space in order.
Let it breathe.
Not everybody just wants to hear lyrics sometimes. Sometimes a little jam time is like, people dig that because it's just keeping the vibe going without you having to, you know, verse, chorus.
Atmosphere.
Yeah.
Because I learned that from jazz. I mean, dudes make good money going out just playing instrumental
Yeah.
at places like the Note or wherever. And so it's like a lot of times that's all you really need.
Yeah.
You don't even need a vocal. So I try to approach vocal as kind of, in those situations, as like part of the blend.
Yeah. A texture. That
Not
you're
like,
adding.
here's the, you know,
Yeah.
loud enough to be heard, but almost part of an ensemble so that it's just, you know, it's comfortable to
Yeah.
listen to. I hate loud music. Mm-hmm. If I'm out, I'm sorry, but unless I'm going to a show, it's like I'm here to kind of talk.
Yeah.
And hang out. I'm not here to be like inundated. You know, I'm a little snobby that way.
Hey,
you know what I
dude,
mean?
You gotta have your standards. You know?
It's like it's too loud. So I make a very conscious effort to like go below the crowd. Now through the night, people drink. The crowd gets more rowdy.
Yeah.
You gotta
You
literally
adjust
turn up.
a little bit.
Yeah. So anyway,
That's the art of it, man. It's the art of live performance.
It
Speaking
is.
of live performance, you got one more for us?
Oh sure. Yeah.
What's the one you're gonna lead us out with here?
All right. So
I'll
this
pull
one.
this mic back a little bit and kind of give.
This is from. Oh, and then the one thing I did want to finally say is the Phoenix Tree album. We made an album. We raised $5,000, and we went in and recorded a real album, and it's called Heartwood. And you can go on Facebook and find Phoenix Tree and our albums right there on YouTube. So you
Okay.
can just go to YouTube, type Phoenix Tree Heartwood. It streams. So.
And people can go. Where can somebody download and or buy a physical copy if they want to?
It's distributed on CD Baby. So
Okay.
it's on iTunes.
So
It's
you
on
can-
Spotify. You can go to Spotify and look up Phoenix Tree. We're on there.
Or if somebody wants to buy. I personally like to have physical copy. I do have a physical copy
Oh,
of this
you'd
one.
have to ask me or go to a show.
Oh, okay. You don't do like
We
from
don't
CD
sell.
Baby.
No, we don't
okay.
do the physical. We do.
Okay.
We have a couple there through CD Baby as well. Yeah,
Very
we
cool.
do.
So Phoenix Tree Heartwood, if anybody wants to check it out, hopefully you do. But Daniel's gonna do one more.
All right, this is
So
called
lead us out. Let me bring this back a little bit.
Crawled Out of the Grave. Maybe do a shaker. Nice. See another sunrise, sing a little song. At the end of the day, sweet baby's gonna lay down next to me. See a tree fall down in front of me, take another path straight down the mountain, and listen to the echo in the well. And I'm tired and dirty like a beggar, more aching and sore than ever. I crawled out of the walked by a missionary, looking at his map for the monastery, gonna lay on stone and bake some holy bread. All the wars have come and gone, and now I'm headed back down to see my angel and her majesty. And I'm tired and dirty like a beggar, more aching and sore than ever. I crawled out of a grave and I'm gonna take my chance. Yeah, I crawled out of a grave and I'm gonna take my chance. Yeah, I crawled out of a grave and I'm gonna take my chance. I can see the frost from my breath shine like ice in the light. Yeah, I got a little herb in my pocket and some rye to last me through the night. Yeah, I hear the sound of trumpets and drums and put one foot in front of the other. I ignore my orders as a departed man should. I crawled out of a grave and I'm gonna take my chance. Excellent egg work.
Beautiful, man. That's my best egg work yet so far. Thank you so much for coming on, man.
That's my pleasure.
Dano,
Good fun.
Phoenix Tree. Everybody check him out. Thanks for tuning in to Next Stage Podcast. Hope it's not the last time we have you on here. We'd love to get a round table Larry's Days discussion with a bunch of people. We're working this up between a bunch of the members who have been a part of that because it seems like a common thread. But any last words for people about why music's important, why it's important to the community, why it's important to the world at large? Like anything you want to say to people if they dig music or are interested in it, like.
Yeah, I mean, music has become this thing compared to, for the first time in human history, right? In the past 500 years or so, a specialist thing, right? But it's not. It's a human thing, right? We all used to sit around the drum circle together, right? That's what music is, right? It's not this, there's Yngwie Malmsteen. I mean, that's nice, and that's good to listen to, you know what I mean?
For a little bit.
But that's for a little while. It's like, wow.
Have you seen this?
Yeah.
It's like the bearded lady.
Yeah, this guy, wow. But I mean, besides that, if you're interested in music and local music, it's like, get out to an open mic. Don't be afraid to start learning guitar at any time or pick up drums or whatever you want to do because it's a human thing. Like, if I don't understand not doing music, it's like we all used to do music.
Yeah.
Back in, for most of human history. Right. We were around the drum circle, man. Like modern life has just dissected our minds and our spirit and everything. And you got to take charge and be like, wow, what's real? What is being human? And like I said, come around and just do it. And don't think of it as this like other thing.
Yeah.
It's just not.
Yeah, the membrane is very permeable, if there even is one.
If there even is one. Yeah, exactly.
Dude, perfect. Thank you so much for coming on.
Sure.
Thanks everyone for listening. Love y'all. And we're out.
All right.
You can't get away.